What's good, family? It's your girls, Queen Koni and Jeid the Jedi, with another thought-provoking, stimulating conversation. Welcome to Bits of Tea. Oh my goodness. Welcome back,
Welcome
babe.
back. Oh.
It has been some time. It has been
over a year.
Mm-hmm. And we have been anticipating season 5 for quite some time.
Mm-hmm.
And boy, do we have the story.
We have a huge story.
The story to tell you guys, okay?
And upon stories.
Yes.
I feel like we take these breaks
Mm-hmm.
for,
for life to happen,
and then our season
for a quick
to
two-piece.
fill up. Yeah, so
quick
we can fill it
two-piece.
up. Yeah, always.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. First and foremost, we want to shout out our producer, Aura Productions.
Yes.
We are so incredibly honored and favored to have someone as talented as Jammy Jam. Mm-hmm. She is behind all of the tech aspects of this, because y'all know Bits of Tea, if you've been following us, if you've been rocking with us, y'all know it's always some shenanigans. Y'all notice this time there's no phones dropping, there's nothing crazy going on with the technology, and that is because we have a beautiful producer that is holding it all down for us.
Absolutely.
So this season we are coming with support, because the topics and the things that we are going to discuss with each other and with you guys are going to be life-changing, to say the least. So where to begin? Let me say this. For those of y'all who are new to Bits of Tea, welcome to our world. This platform was created really for Jeid and I to come and have our own means of therapy, but really we are sharing our journey on mastering the art of healing. We are both holistic therapists. Mm-hmm. We are connection cultivationists. We help people to deepen their emotional connections and intimacy. And we basically share our own personal tools, practices, concepts, and formulas on how to process, release, and reframe our trauma, but then also embody what life is like on the other side of it. Mm-hmm. And so Bits of Tea is a platform that we created so that we can come and talk about the things that we're moving through and share with you guys. Platform. Me too. And share with you all the behind the scenes on what it looks like to process your trauma, what it looks like to release emotions and to reframe your thought patterns. And so it is with our intention to share our real life experiences with you all, so that you can take whatever aligns with you, and you could also continue your journey of healing. Yeah.
It's encouragement. And just to let you guys know that you're not the only ones going through it, you know? So.
Yeah. And I think for us, too, to know that we're not the only ones going through it, because, child, I'm going to tell you.
Not growing through it. There we go.
Growing through
growth,
it.
Honey.
Yeah. So it's been a year. I know y'all are itching to know the tea. Everybody is like, okay, where y'all been at? What's going on with the practice? Like what is it? Like, we want to know the tea, and we've been waiting to give it to you guys, because trust me, it has been a roller coaster.
Do you want to start August 2023?
August of 2022?
Oh gosh, 2022.
August of 2022.
Y'all.
I want to start there. So
start August 2022.
Yeah. I want to go there, but let's start here. So for those of you who do not know, we are the founders of Sound Mind and Body Wellness. This is our holistic wellness practice where we do offer holistic tools, again, to help people feel better, right? To help them reduce pain and to, I want to say eradicate.
Live a better life.
Eradicate.
Yeah, let's get rid of it right now.
Yeah, let's get rid of it. Let's get rid of life with chronic emotional and physical pain. And so our practice allows us to offer beautiful services to the community. And so with our practice, we were in our brick and mortar.
Yes.
Our location based out of the St. Petersburg area. And we recently just made a huge move, a quite abrupt move, but one that absolutely needed to be made.
It did.
Yeah. So I'm starting us here.
Well, I like that.
Right.
Reverse engineering.
Reverse engineering. That's my steez.
Yes.
So the reasons why we moved out of the practice the way that we did, the final reason was because, you know that saying, when God, like, If you don't move, God will move
If
you.
you don't move, God
Are
will
y'all
move
from?
you.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So that's what happened basically. We already knew it had already been time for us to leave. However, life. And so, we were taking our time, holding on, feeling stuck for me. And things became so uncomfortable to the point where Jeid took the initiative and was like, you know what?
It's time to go. Peace.
We gotta go.
Do it.
We gotta go.
Safety was involved.
Safety was so now we can get into it. Like, you know what I mean? So we left the practice, but this is why we left the practice. Take us back to August 2022. What was 22 not 22, but the year 2022? What was that like in your perspective? Now that we're past it.
Being in it, it was definitely for me moving through a roller coaster ride of ups and downs and rounds and rounds. Not only within our relationship, but also within our practice. How we were going to keep it afloat. Also utilizing our funds that we got from the practice for our living expenses, for everything else, right? So in a nutshell, it was stressful.
I was gonna say a shit show.
Stressful.
It was horrible.
It was like
no, it wasn't horrible, but
and regulating ourselves with
bagels and cream cheese, egg and cheese sandwiches, donuts and coffee every day. Shout out to what's the name of the place? Fray's Donuts. If y'all know Fray's Donuts, if y'all know about Fray's Donuts, then y'all know. We was there every day.
Yeah, so,
literally.
It was definitely it was a trying time.
It was a trying time for sure.
And for me, I know for me, definitely for you.
Girl,
definitely.
what?
Many trips to the park to regulate myself, just to breathe, meditate, whatever I needed to do to come back to homeostasis.
Yeah. In 2022, I would have identified that year for me as like my worst nightmare happening. One of my worst nightmares, right? Like just something that I could identify as such. I would have like 2022 that happened. I mean, one of them, right? There's many of the nightmares that I guess people could have. But for me, the nightmare of eviction and becoming unhoused was, that happened in 2022. And and 2 years later, looking back, after all of the guilt and the shame and the embarrassment has been like released, I was just talking to you about it the other day, like, oh my God, like I could see the domino effect of me not following my intuition. You know what I'm saying? Like, in 2022, we were living in a beautiful skyrise apartment. It was just like such a vibe. And that was when we also expanded into our last location. With the whole build out though, y'all. Like, I mean, we was up. Like, we literally invested I want to say $30,000 at least into that practice. And what happened was, the business started to slow down is what happened. Unexpectedly
slow down.
Yeah,
right?
unexpectedly.
So, it was like we were investing a lot in marketing and really SEOs and Google, and we had a team to assist us with their wonderful team. Yet our thought process was like, this is going to be a go. We were on the busiest street that we in Pinellas Park, and it was like, it's a no-brainer. We're going to get seen. We're going to be the top on our SEO.
It was a no-brainer.
Google search, everything, Massage Near Me, Sound Mind and Body Wellness.
Yeah.
All those things, and our hopes were so high for that. And then the return on investment was not there
at all. And it was unbeknownst to us. Like, how is this happening? We're investing so much money, and we get it. Entrepreneurship, first of all, is ghetto. It's a 1 star for me. I don't recommend it. But, shout out to all the entrepreneurs out there. As entrepreneurs, on the journey, it's not linear. You know what I mean? Like, it's up and down all around. Like, it's not just straight up. You know what I mean? So we didn't, whatever. However, like with the investments, right? Like we were investing money, time, energy into a lot of different things that we just, anticipated such a great, at least sustainable return, and that didn't happen. And so, you know, I can remember like receiving the letter of like renewing our lease. This is where the domino effect came into play. Okay. We received, before we even moved into the apartment, right? Like maybe 2 years prior, we said that we just wanted to live in the city in a skyrise for 1 year. Yeah. Like we just wanted the experience, and then we were going to move forward. Right.
And we always knew it was going to be downtown St. Pete.
And we always knew it was going to be downtown St. Pete. So we magnetized that real quick. We got into our apartment, had the time of our lives. It was amazing. And then time came up, right, for us to move forward with what we already initially said. When the time came, we hesitated. Instead of following our intuition of like, we're going to move out and, you know, and preparing for that move, we dove headfirst into the practice and was like, oh, you know what? We were hesitant on doing that. And so when we got the papers to renew, when I got the paper first, when I got the paper to renew the lease, you know, at the appropriate time, you know, when they always send the paper, I felt in that moment to renew the lease because we weren't prepared to move. You know what I mean? But I reneged on my decision. Like I didn't move forward in that because, again, of what we said initially. So we didn't renew the lease at that time, right? And then, you know, they give you a couple of days or a couple of weeks or something like that. And then they give you a chance to like renew the lease again. So we ended up renewing the lease, but it was just late. And so there were some fees attached. Okay, yada, yada, no problem. Another thing is, too, we had miraculously received assistance.
Yes.
There was like something with COVID was going on again. I was hoping you was
going to get there, honey. I was like, because don't be cute with the story, honey, because we need to get there.
No, like COVID was still going on. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, so we definitely got, you know, the benefits for the first time, because when COVID first came here, we didn't get jack. But this time we actually got some assistance. And so it was all good. Now, when the paper came to renew the lease, there was also another offer for assistance to cover like 4 more months, right? Yeah. So the beginning of 2022, we was living, child. Like that shit was amazing. And then, like I said, I remember going against my intuition of like signing the lease because we weren't prepared. Didn't sign the lease at that time. I saw the offer for the assistance for an additional 4 months, ignored it. Again, just chaotic, yo, chaotic. And next thing you know, the domino effect of, you know, not trusting yourself took place with us. And so immediately after that, we ended up signing a lease. Cool, fine. But then the practice we wasn't getting booked. And so it became incredibly hard to live all of a sudden. We went from being so high up to like falling down fast, hard, you know? And so next thing you know, it's like we watched the motherfucking plane fall down, just burden to hell down. We watched it.
All the while regulating ourselves at the same time.
We still going out to eat. Like
we're still like, we don't know how this is going to happen.
We don't know what to do.
But we are hoping for a miracle right now.
Yeah, we were still pushing the business heavy. We were still like applying for jobs. Like we were doing everything that we thought to do to prevent this from happening.
It was like brick wall after brick wall after brick wall.
I was like, okay, God, like what other lessons do I need to learn in this moment? We got a child, like what's going on? But it happened. And it needed to happen. And so it was for the first time for me and you, very first time ever. We experienced a true ass eviction, like the cops or whoever.
So this is what happened. So okay,
to the door.
So it was so crazy because we got the initial letter was on the door, right? And then I had come back from somewhere and it had fallen off the floor. Yeah. So it was like, okay, we're still hoping for a miracle. Yeah. So one day, like, we were just like, I don't know, I think we felt it. It was like, let's go ahead and walk over to the coffee shop. Let's grab up some
we took Kimmy to school.
And let's do our thing. Mm-hmm. Child, we came back from the coffee shop. We saw the police car there. We was like, oh man,
we knew it.
They there for us.
Yeah. And they were kind. Like people at the office, they were mad kind. Yeah. Like they were like, I don't know how you guys are still able to like. They didn't understand the magic. The ancestors was holding us down. Okay, like they stretched it out to as far as they possibly could. But everybody, it was such a graceful experience. It was not abrupt, or it wasn't as...
They allowed us to get our things.
Yeah, like we got as much as we could. Had to leave.
That was a mad dash.
that was a mad dash. We got everything that was important to us. All the rest of it was just material.
Like,
yeah, but it was new though. I was like, damn, my rose gold table, my full size mirror, my new IKEA bed, and it was just like, okay. Okay.
And we had to let go. And
we had to let it go.
Moment, it was just like, as we were packing the car, I just remember us being like, oh my God, I'm so glad Kamora's at school.
Oh my God.
We was like, we are so glad she's at school.
Like, she didn't have to experience that trauma.
Over here, like, packing BB, Big Body, which is our green Ford 500, which we love.
It's our little pickup truck.
It's our pickup truck.
But it's an actual car, but he big.
But big body, BB. We were packing that thing full. I remember having to discard our elephant ear
our plants.
I was like,
we had 3 big ones.
I'm sorry, like I had to take them out of the their vases, and then I put them into the
ground. Yeah,
it was just like, oh my goodness, it was like so much emotion going on during that time, but we was holding it together composure wise.
We did, because we still had to service the community.
We had to service the community still in the midst of that, y'all. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, you was gonna go ahead. Well,
I was just gonna mention that, you know, even though we weren't getting booked as we anticipated, we still had clients to serve. So we still had to work in between.
We were membership based at that time.
We were membership based.
Yeah.
So we were still servicing a lot of clients. It just wasn't enough to keep us, like, it wasn't sustainable.
Right.
You know? And now that I'm thinking about it, I remember you saying, like early on, like way before, like, babe, like, if we don't do something, like, we're gonna tank. Like, this is like, we need to figure something out.
Felt that and like, already, yo.
You did, but we invested more money into marketing. We invested more money into, like, just different things that we were
so that we
being suggested to. You know what I'm saying?
Well, that's society too. It's like, what do? You market your business, you market yourself, and then the results from that come, not realizing, like, okay, it takes time.
It takes time, one, and if it's not your path, it's not gonna come. Like, if you're not you can be in alignment with your soul's mission and out of alignment with the path, meaning like how you're supposed to facilitate your soul's mission.
That part.
That can be simultaneous, and for us, that was the case. Like, we are in alignment with our soul's mission, meaning what we were here to do, what we're put on this earth to do, but we were out of alignment with the path, meaning like how to facilitate that work. And so 2022, that happened. We go ahead.
Right. All right.
My bad.
Right. That's fine. So now, like, the thing is, like, once we're out of the apartment, the next thing is like, okay, what do we do now?
And where do we go?
Where do we go and what do we do? Right. So we were like, we went to the practice and we sat there for a second, and then we were just kind of mulling over, like, okay, who do we have in our circle that we can trust with the information? Because again, we're very private, and we wanted to, you know, we thought that it was going to just be an easy, like, takeoff after it happened, right? Because it's like, immediately we could do this, that. Well, I found myself in our little hallway, if you've ever been to our practices, the hallway that our clients enter in, packing that.
Oh my God, it was full
of our things. I put a curtain up behind it. Like, there were so many different elements back there. Yeah, so I'm packing it up, and I'm looking at her like, oh my God, it looks like we're going to be staying here.
Yeah. Oh, as soon as we moved out of the apartment, we invested $6,000. So shout out to our angel investor. She knows who she is. We invested, because we invested in a rebrand for the business. So we're still pouring loads of money into the vision, the business. You know what I mean? And man, so that was another piece too. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So yeah, back to the hallway and the practice.
And I believe, like, we just sat here and we were looking at each other and we were like, we got to go get Kimmy from school. I think we allowed her to stay in aftercare for a little bit, so we can try to figure out some things, like, moving forward. And I can only remember, like, you know what? Children, as long as we're calm and we're cool and collective, children will not hesitate to, like, follow along with what we've got going on. So we decided to make this whole thing an adventure.
Yeah.
So we had
it was truly nomadic.
And we told her about like, hey, we're gonna be staying at the practice for a little bit, and we're gonna make it an adventure. And she was like, yes, like she was excited about it.
Yeah,
she was ready to go. Like I was like, okay, we have the projector, we have like
she thought it was an amazing like time.
Like, yeah, she was like, yes, we're staying here. This is wonderful. And I'm like, thank you, God, like because that's the last thing you want.
That was the grace we needed
for your kids to be like,
I was hanging on by one thread. I was like, oh God.
Yeah, but we're super cool because we understand. We understood the assignment, right? So we're there, and then now it's like, okay, some time is going by.
Yeah,
y'all. Time is going by, and we're like
flying by,
and we're like, okay, we're still here.
Yeah,
we're still here, and it was like, how are we gonna cook? What are we gonna do? How's this all gonna happen? Listen.
When I say this woman right here, the country folk, y'all out there from the country,
came out of me, honey.
I appreciate y'all. When I say survival at its fittest, but luxury, but make it luxury though. This one right here, she like, yo, we gonna live. We still gotta cook because of our lifestyle and our child. We need to be able to take a shower, take a hot bath every day, 2 times a day. Like we still need to be able to, have space to heal and to meditate. Like we need all of that. And it just so happened that before like any of this played out, we were just jokingly talking about, oh, we would love the tiny house living. We want a tiny house live and da-da-da. We went to Atlanta and everything, went to a tree house. We spoke into the universe, and you created our practice to feel like our home too. Like I shared vision with you of what I wanted it to feel like, and you just brought it into life, and you created it literally into our home. And so our practice not only served our community, but it served us, the facilitators, and I will forever be grateful for that.
I have footage, this is no lie, like I have actual footage of
everything.
Do. I have footage of just like the journey of us moving through those spaces. So I remember specifically how are we going to like cook? What are we going to do? So the thought process, we had a George Foreman grill, right? And the George Foreman grill was the small one. It was the tiny one. It was the one that was, countertop. And just so happened, I was like, let me prop this thing up. Let me see what we could do with it. Child, when I say gourmet meals on that thing, when I say we was chopping up purple cabbage and put oil on it and like all types of rice. That's
amazing.
Listen, I don't know how it's I'm just thankful. I'm just super thankful just to be able to have like that type of mindset and those skills. And then not for you to worry or not for Kimmy to worry, but to make it also fun.
Yeah.
Like, again, the adventure. So we cooked a many meals on the George Foreman, and then the George Foreman died.
George was like, I can't take another nothing.
Now you're wondering, right. And so now you're wondering, like, well, how did you bathe and shower? So I created an entire, so y'all would never know, like, when you come into the bathroom.
Yeah.
I went through 3 different trials with a shower, okay? Because, honey, we're women, number 1, and we have to be clean.
Absolutely.
Okay, so the first one was the idea of the cowboy shower. I don't know if you guys actually know what that is. So it is a shower that you fill up with water, and what I was doing with it was having it heat up outside, so it would be our water for the evening, and I would hang it up on the rafters,
and it had a spout,
on it, and then we had a
like a plastic tub,
a tub like a tote, and then I created
like a shower curtain,
so that everything is going in there. So that was the first experience.
That's some wild
shower. And it was always warm. Kimmy loved it, honey. Would just be in there like doing all, kids just be following along with the shenanigans while we're over here.
You gotta pull teeth to the shower. She ready. In the shower before we.
Girl, no, it's a 5-gallon. Don't let that water come out because don't be wasting the water. Okay, we gotta be
right.
So we went through that process.
Wow.
Of that's our first shower survival mechanism that we had, and it worked for a while. And then the damn thing broke. And I'm like, okay, I'm not going to do this again, because not only do you have to be discreet when you are living in your practice, because it's not
living where you work.
It's living where you work. I was like, I did not want to be seen like having to grab it from in and out. So the next innovation was, okay, well, it's the the camper showers, right? So it's the one with the propane tank that has the hot and cold water unit with it, and you hook it up, and it's the shower. You got a battery and everything.
Glamping. We were glamping for 2 years.
Yeah, so so that was the next thing, right? We utilized that, and like literally, like as we were getting it prepared and it was ready to go, the hot water was running. It was like, yes, wonderful. We got this. The damn thing quit. It quit. Oh my God. I was like, oh my God. I was like, okay. God. I was like, I had to send the shit back to Amazon and everything else. And it was just like, what is the next step? So our next step was the bathing one, so we can actually take baths.
Yeah, we just resulted in that.
So we resulted into a portable. It was a breakdown. I could break it down and hide it, which was great. Tub. So we were able to get hot water and everything like that. So we actually were taking
hot baths
this time.
Yeah.
And we were warming our water up with the
awesome. It was a long like metal heater.
No. At first we had 2 water dispensers. Okay, 2. A black one and a white one.
I forgot about the white one.
So the white one has a hot water feature on it. So how we would do it is we would put something underneath the hot water, put the hot water in there, and that's how we would fill the tub up with steaming water.
Yeah.
Okay, so that
transitions.
That broke after a while, because after a while you're using it a lot. It's 3 of us, and we're all taking baths twice a day. So it broke. And then the next thing we utilized the black one. The heating element out of that for a while. The heating element out of that went out, and honey,
we ran
then the next step was a damn tea kettle. The tea kettle was the next process to heat up the water.
Right. So let's just, because we can go on and on about that. So basically, you created resources for us to still have the elements of home that we require as a family. And then it eventually evolved, and like she built a room, a closet in the back, where that's where our kitchen moved to. So we expanded that, and then we had our tub and everything. So we had all the things that we required to actually live comfortably, you know what I mean? And so it was like I said, it was a gracious period as far as like having a roof over our heads and having all the resources that we need to like, to live, you know what I mean? But let's get into the emotional aspects of it. Shame and guilt. Oh my God. I've never experienced such shame and guilt and embarrassment in my life. And that's why we didn't tell anybody. That's why we didn't share with our the family did know. The immediate family knew. Okay, let me be very clear on that. Immediate family knew. That's another story, honey. That's another story. They knew. But as far as like our community, our close friend, our comrades, you know what I mean? Like we kept it under wraps for 2 reasons. One, safety, because we live where we work. And our practice is open to the public. And then 2, shame and guilt and embarrassment, to be honest. Like it's just like, wow, like we're grown women, like, you know what I'm saying? Like we're
in debt to our business.
We're in debt to our business. But it just, for me, the shame and the guilt and the embarrassment, all of that had already been there. You know what I mean? Like this is my biggest lesson from having to live at our practice. In order for me to even become aware of where the healing is required, I needed to be in a place to trigger the emotions. You know what I mean? Like the despair, and all the other emotions that have been healed and alchemized in that space. I couldn't have done it in our skyrise. You know what I mean? Like, and that's what I'm realizing, like, not only for me, but for the collective. It's like, you cannot, it's extremely hard to heal the deepest, darkest aspects of yourself if you're not triggered. Like if that darkness is not risen to the surface, it's going to be hard to heal it. You know what I'm saying? And so for me personally, I know that I needed that entire time for me to come to terms and to face the darkness that I was still holding on to in my body.
Same.
You know what I mean?
That was such a healing space for all of us. Kimmy, you and me.
Yes.
It was still, and others. So it served its purpose for what we created it to be.
It really truly did.
So.
It really truly did. The funny thing is that once we got over the shame and guilt and embarrassment, and we actually started to share our truth with people that we trust, they were giving us feedback like, that's brilliant. Like they were looking at us like, girl, like that's what's up. Like y'all did that. Like they were like pouring into us in ways that like shame, guilt, and embarrassment wouldn't allow me to see.
And our immediate family did not pour into us like that either.
No, they didn't. No. They didn't. They didn't. And so, but that's why we didn't have conversations with them about it. Like we didn't talk about anything with them during this time because we wanted to minimize ridicule and judgment.
Exactly.
And also burden. Like we didn't want to put nothing extra on anybody else because we know that everybody's moving through density. Everybody's moving through, pain essentially. And so we was just like, nah, we're good. But the moment that we started to share this truth with people, which is recent this year, and this goes to show for the work that we've done. This is how I know that we are healing and that we are truly regulated because of our perspective too. But people were giving us feedback as if like what we did, the move we made was a smart move. And it was just like, really? Like, that's how y'all see it? Because I didn't see it like that in the beginning.
We're not going to see it like that in the beginning because the conditioning and everything else around. Like, and then, of course, with the kid, irresponsibility, y'all are crazy. Y'all should just get a job. I'm like,
and we tried. Like, we literally have been attempting. So, but so many beautiful moments of mastering the art of healing came out of that time. And so that was the main reason why we left the practice, is because we came to terms with like, yo, we have to disrupt this cycle. Like we are literally stuck here. Like if we don't move abruptly, then what are we really saying to the universe? What are we saying to God? Like what are we putting out? We're saying we're comfortable, and we was comfortable, but it became uncomfortable. You know what I'm saying? And so it was just like, we need to, and then we started to get harassed. That was the second thing. So when you don't move, God will move you. What happened was He did us a favor. Our neighbor, which was right behind us, started acting crazy over the last 6 months we were there. And, we just weren't advocated for in the way that, we were hoping for. And so, this neighbor would disrupt our services while we were in service with people there, just be barging into our stuff. And then, of course, we're living there. So, it became really unsafe because it's just like, damn, like, we can't have this. Like, you know what I mean? And so it came down to it. With the last time it happened, you just was like, you know what? We're leaving.
Yeah, I was like,
we gotta go. And as soon as we made the decision, fam, like, yo, the doors of opportunity and abundance opened for us. As soon as we left, it was the easiest move I think we ever had. Mm-hmm. The easiest move we have ever had. It was so blissful. And as soon as we left, y'all, we facilitated the largest event of our history in our careers. We were brought on with the Qettes and at the Tampa Convention Center for their retreat weekend, and we facilitated therapeutic massages. I hosted my first big speaking engagement, paid. It was amazing, and and the opportunities since then have been pouring in. So it was obviously the right move.
Trickling.
I
said trickling in.
Yeah, the opportunities are trickling in. Yeah, for sure. Go ahead, speak.
No, I'm good.
Go ahead.
No, I didn't have anything to say. No, you said opportunities pouring in, so I was like trickling.
Oh my goodness. So, okay. I feel like opportunities are pouring in because I feel like we have more space to receive. Like we're seeing different things now. Like we're looking at different opportunities for ourselves, our family, reimagining our life. That's what I mean by that.
I'm still dysregulated.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Let's talk about it.
Yeah, I'm still dysregulated. In the midst of,
of course, but
to the tiniest of bit, but still there's that unnerving, the next steps of the unknown. The unknown is always unnerving and it feels dysregulated because you're like, okay, well, universe, we've done the healing.
We've done so much.
That's how I feel. We've done so much, but sometimes I feel like I'm like, man, you ain't,
you haven't done enough.
You ain't done enough. No. But I'm still in that kind of just holding my breath.
I feel like your dysregulation is stemming from these spells that you've had, and that's another conversation on another day that we'll get into that. But I feel like you've always been dysregulated. We've always been dysregulated, but I feel like the source of your dysregulation didn't have anything to do with what happened over the last 2 years. I feel like it has everything to do with this darkness that you have been, overcoming.
The contributing stress and the behind the scenes worry and making sure we're okay and you're okay, and then thinking about so many different things as I always do.
As you always do. Yeah. Dysregulation is inevitable, family. Like, that's the thing. Dysregulation is inevitable. However, we do have tools. We have practices. We have, natural resources that are available to all of us. Like, taking a deep breath, practicing breathing more intentionally is going to serve you so well. You know what I mean? Going outside. I know it sounds...
And those things are true.
Small.
Because I don't be breathing sometimes either when I'm like under...
You don't be using your tools. You be dragging me because you be in the shower using your tools. You be, muscle testing everywhere I look.
It's
like,
not you always,
you be dragging me.
It's not a drag, I promise. It's not a drag.
And here I am regulated. Like, we be having tools, family. Like, the tools that you are learning in therapy, the tools that you are learning in community, the tools that you are learning and, whatever you are investing in, like, use them. You know what I mean? Like, the tools are not to be used when you're regulated and everything is peachy keen. Those tools are for you to use when you are heavily dysregulated, when your thoughts are running rampant and telling you lies.
Yeah, she cutting her eyes at me.
I am. And I was saying, I had this revelation with you. Depression is real.
Yeah.
Okay, let me say this. Depression is very real and is also a liar. So when you find yourself in the midst of lies, meaning you're wrapped up in thoughts that don't feel good to your body, that are creating scenarios that don't feel good to your nervous system, that is when you are to implement tools. You have to disrupt the patterns. And so the last 2 years for me personally have been practice, because I know that without the experience, I don't have the authority to speak. You know what I mean? Like, I know what I'm here to do. I know what I'm here to do in this reality. And I also know that I want to teach from spaces that I've been. I don't want to teach from a place that I've never been and giving you something out of a textbook. I want to teach from a place that I know personally. Yeah. And so I am so grateful for the 2 years. I'm so grateful for how everything transpired and how it all fell into place, because now I have a story to tell. Like, now I have my own authority to be like, I've been depressed. Like, I've been evicted. Like, I've been without a home. Like, I've gotten over these things. I have overcome these barriers. And this is how I did it. And so, I'm awesome. Super grateful for the experience.
I am too.
Yeah.
As I nervously laugh. No.
So as far as
I am too, though. I am.
Yeah.
Too. Yeah, I am. It's a lot to learn. It was a lot to learn, and then I also was able to. You saw me in a different light too, to like being able to like create such a provide. There we go. Identify.
Provide.
What provide is.
Because you're so used to providing in one capacity that you feel like if you're not providing monetarily, then you're not providing at all. Matter of fact, you feel like you don't have a purpose in life. That's how deep you take it. Like, damn, Scorpio, it's not that deep. I'm just
really
picking with you.
She just thinks that I am.
You be going so deep, but it's like but provide. You gave me the opportunity, or the opportunity gave me. It gave me space to see you in that light. You know what I mean? Like, you provided for me and us in a way that like I never knew existed. You know what I'm saying? And that you can't pay for that. Like it takes the real life experience for that to come out.
That's a perspective shift right now. That's happening right now.
Heal her. Heal her.
That's happening right now. Like, really.
I love that. No, for real though, babe. Like, and I know it's been hard on you because you are so used to making a lot of money and being the sole provider financially. And like, I understand that, but know that what you have done and what you continue to do for your family, it is so greatly appreciated. I couldn't have experienced what we have in the last 2 years as beautiful as we did without you. Yeah. Like, I couldn't have imagined it. You know what I mean? Like, it would have been done. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would have figured it out. Trust and believe me. But
I feel like you, New Yorker, you already been in something.
I would have been in something. I would have been in something. We ain't gonna talk about what I was in,
right?
But
you would have did it.
I would have figured it out.
My country ass, I'm just like, okay, we let's work with what we got right now, you know.
But you made it such a pleasurable experience. You know,
Facts.
we still hosted events at the practice. Every time people was around, everybody loved the energy. Nobody. I mean, I don't know if people do or not, but everybody was so comfortable and vulnerable in our space. It felt like it was our home, just like in our actual home, you know? So what I'm saying is thank you, babe.
You're welcome.
Thank you for providing for us in the ways that you have. You don't see your gifts. You don't see like how amazing you are all the time. And, you know, it just looking back on it, Kimmy had such a great time. We had a great time. You know what I'm saying? Amidst the chaos, we laughed so much. You know what I'm saying? We played games. We had a good time. We had a good time, and I will forever remember that moment. You know what I mean? When we get old and still looking fine, because y'all know, we gonna be telling the story to our kids. Like, yo, wait, like back in the day, you know, and when I hear other people's like stories of like where they came from, I'm like, damn, we don't got nothing on them. Like they went through far more than we did in these last 2 years, you know? So I'm grateful for the opportunity, and I'm grateful for you.
Thank you
for showing up the way you did.
Had to.
Yeah. What was your biggest takeaway from that moment, the last 2 years of that experience?
I can definitely say that, like you said, looking at myself and being able to like look at my talents and my gifts, I can truly say like, wow, like I really can make something pleasurable or make something out of nothing that I feel that's nothing. So just really like tapping into like, damn, I really do got that talent. Like I got
You really that little girl, that little baby.
I'm really that shit. Like I'm really
I love
really
it.
That bitch.
I love it.
Yeah. Like,
yeah, you are.
Yeah. As far as that goes, so it gives me a lot more confidence, you know, in that scene. Like, yeah, I can do anything.
I hope you always look back and think of
that's
that.
a mile marker.
I hope you look at it.
When we always put a pin in it, put a flag in it, like to be able to reference and go back to a point to be like, you know what, yeah, I can take myself there and be like, yeah, I did that.
Right. It was awesome.
Yeah. What was yours?
My biggest takeaway was the dysregulation piece of like knowing that like, you know, in order for me to heal the deepest, darkest parts of myself, I need to be triggered. I need to be in the environment, in the space that's going to drudge all of that up. And so us being, having to live where we work and, you know, moving through that eviction and like coming to terms with it, I needed to be in those spaces to like feel what I had always been suppressing for all these years. You know what I mean?
And like shout out to our mentor too, Professor Melanie, who
yes,
like because we would get counsel from her.
Yeah, right? We were still seeking mentorship
all the time, and then she brought something up too in the midst of us always being because Koni would always mention displaced, like
displacement. And I said it with that attitude, and like she felt it.
She was just like, why are you still using that word? And then she basically brought up like our ancestors did that. Our ancestors healed where they worked. You know, their home was where they worked. That's where they healed. So it just brought us in the perspective of like, oh, okay, I can see this. Yeah. Right? Like I can begin to like feel into that and be like, okay, this feels ancestral.
Yeah.
In a sense.
She was like, y'all need to be honored. Yeah. Like this is how your ancestors did it. And so, you know, it's a privilege for you to actually facilitate this healing work the way that your ancestors did it. And that was a perspective shift. That was for sure. A perspective shift as well. It was a perspective shift for sure. That. Yeah, it was awesome.
A lot of those talks got me through. Like, seriously. Like, hold on. Keep going. Now, don't give up because, you know, it's for a short while. Because I'd be thinking, like, whoo.
This too shall pass.
We are healing some ancestral things. I'm telling you.
Okay.
We're the only ones that took the torch and said, okay, we gonna keep it going. And sometimes I just feel like it wasn't a choice either. Yeah. So we didn't have a choice. But let me tell you, like, just the stories and things that I've heard, you know, through the ancestral and the pain and the dysregulation that, you know, they have went through. Yeah. It's like, I can only imagine why we have been put in such a great position.
Yeah. Absolutely. So let's because I know we're
Switch gears a
coming.
little
We're
bit.
well, no, I know we're coming to a beautiful close for the first episode. We wanted to give you guys a recap of like what we've really been moving through. The biggest thing we've been moving through. We've moved through so many different things over the last 2 years, but the bulk of it was, having to live in our practice and and work where we live, right? So this is the roadmap to mastering the art of healing that we've discovered and that we're mastering it for ourselves, and we're teaching our community how to do it too. So the roadmap of mastering the art of healing looks like processing, right? Releasing, reframing, and then embodiment. So I want to go over those 4 aspects with you so that you all can know and become aware of what's going on, right? And or how to start your journey or how to continue your journey, right? Give you some context and vocabulary. So processing is when you become aware of what's going on in your body, aware of your surroundings, and processing is when you become aware of your surroundings, aware of what's going on in your body. When you acknowledge your contribution, which is your behavior, your thought patterns, right? Your habits. You observe why and how things transpire. And then you make aligned choices and solutions that support your overall well-being. That's processing. And then you have releasing, right? This is where now you're utilizing different tools and frameworks and practices to support your body's release of the emotions that are trapped within. And then you have the reframing aspects where now you are disrupting the neurological patterns in your brain or neurological processes that go on that contribute to your behavior, right? And then you have the embodiment, which is the embodiment is a difficult one because it's the discovery of self, who you are after the release. Who are you now that you've crossed the barriers of anxiety and depression, right? Of that chronic emotional and physical pain. And that's the journey, that's the roadmap that we've discovered. And so on this podcast, in the upcoming episodes, we're going to continue to share our stories of what we've moved through and how we moved through it. But that will always be the foundation in sharing how we process, how we release, how we reframe, and what the embodiment looks like.
This is why we're not in a crazy house right now, or anything like that, honey. Cause
not the crazy house.
For real, because for anybody else, this would be such a disheartening, rough type of situation. But
and it was at times for us.
And it was at times, but just having those tools and continue to practice, God. And then again the motion code and just really dive in deep. Yeah. Because these emotions be in the crevices, and sometimes they're repetitive emotions, but the repetitive emotions are layered because that's just what it is. So that's so I'm happy that we had a tool, had the mentors, and even facilitated the healing in our practice, because listening to other people's stories and they're looking at us and wow, you guys are awesome, and I'm like, woo. If you only knew,
right? If you only knew, child, right?
So yeah, I really enjoy that.
Yeah, and also a couple of beautiful creations came out of being there too, like Vision Life in the Line 18-month planner. Yeah. So Jeid and I created this really for me because we were in Barnes and Noble and I couldn't find a planner that just fit me the best. I'm an avid journaler. I love writing in books, and my baby knows that. And so we were in Barnes and Noble. I could not find anything to fit my needs.
Always similar. It was like, ooh, this is good, but it needed.
Yeah, it was like that. We had a conversation, and next thing I know, you're creating it.
Let's go.
Literally creating the vision. And so we together came up with the Vision Life in the Line 18-month planner with resources of information inside, with the new moon and the full moon, affirmations, encouragement. I mean, just so many good things.
A lot of goodies
in this journal. And so this is available for purchase on Amazon.
It's a planner / journal. I guess you can use it however you want.
It's a planner and journal, seriously. So this came out of the 2 years. You created a beautiful astrology chart to help people better understand the tool of astrology.
Called the Blueprint to Astrology.
We're going to leave all the links to all the things, down below. And then you have What's the Matter, the book that you published. It's officially done and it's out here. That was a process in itself. but it came to.
It did.
And it's such a beautiful tool.
Here. Yeah.
It's physically here. So in the next show, we'll show you guys what that looks like.
It's an interactive guide to understanding your child's feelings. But it's interactive because both the parent and the child have to be involved. So in order for it to really manifest greatness.
Yeah, and it's awesome. And then we have these beautiful digital spaces that we've created for community because y'all, we get a lot of feedback basically, and so we're like, you know what, this why don't we create an online space to further these conversations so that we can people can receive what they're looking for.
Yes.
And so with that being said, we created the Sacred Oasis Collective, which is our private online community. It's similar to like a Facebook feed, but it's not on Facebook. And it's $22 a month. It's just where you're going to find the closest proximity to us, where we're showing up, you know, weekly with exclusive content, masterminds, workshops. We have our personal oracle and guide, Justin, who is just amazing. He's also going to be showing up in that space to assist with information and readings and things like that. Tons of guest speakers. We have a lot in store for our online space that we're curating. And so we want to invite all of you, if you align with us, if you've been rocking with us and you want to continue your work with us and you want to deepen your experience, the Sacred Oasis Collective is where you want to come. Awesome. There's also going to be exclusive hypno audio sets, audio guides. Again, like just exclusive content.
We've got a couple of audio. We've got one audio set now, or actually just one audio guide now, and then we have two. What is that? Not audio, but they're ebooks or e-guides.
Like I said, exclusive content. I can't remember off the top of my head all the things, but everything will be inside of the Sacred Oasis Collective. Unlock Your Quantum Breakthrough program is getting ready to open up the doors for the waitlist. So stay tuned for all the information. This is where you're going to learn how to facilitate quantum breakthroughs for yourself personally and professionally. We're going to put you on to, again, our personal practices of how we do things and how we've been able to heal the way that we are healing. And yeah, that's all I got for now.
Is that everything? I always feel like there was so much more with containers. You celebrate yourself too. Koni's birthday is...
Oh, my birthday is on the 21st.
It's on the 21st.
Yay, happy birthday.
Yes, it's Cancer season, y'all. So
yes, thank you.
That ends it, right?
Yeah, that ends it, you know. So. Yeah, and you know what? Thank you for saying that because I'll touch on this too. So the last 2 years, like, you know, it's been a journey. I don't doubt that the displacement and the eviction happened just out of nowhere, right? The year prior, my father passed away suddenly. And I did not process his death. I did not grieve it. I suppressed and I dissociated because I just couldn't accept the fact that my dear father was no longer with me physically after we just healed and gotten closer. You know what I mean? Like, and I love my dad, you know, and he loved me too. Yeah. And so, you know, I just couldn't accept his transition. And so he passed away in 2021. And after that, I just created this idea of celebrating myself every day in July. Like I was hyper fixated. So I would load up events and things to do in the month of July. And I'm like, oh, the whole month is my birthday. I mean, if you know me, you know, this is my thing. And it wasn't until this year where, you know, Jeid was just, you know, she's like, July gives me anxiety. Like, you give me anxiety. And I'm like, what? Like, what are you talking about? Like, how? And that led into a conversation that needed to happen, which was like, I realized that, wow, I was actually suppressing death. Because in July, what I actually faced was that I had to view my father's body for the first time. I had to pick out his casket. I had to cremate him, and I had to torch him in that ceremony. Like, he wanted me to torch him. And I guess it's because we have this connection. He always told this story of like catching me in his hands, like when I was born. And, you know, he caught me, he brought me into the world. And then, you know, I said goodbye and torched his body and he left. And so, I realized that I had been dissociated and I was suppressing that. I didn't want to remember. And I didn't remember until a couple of days ago where, you know, we're having this conversation and it just comes out of me. I didn't even know it was there, but I'm crying. I mean, releasing. And Jeid heard it for the first time too. I went right back to where my body was holding on to, which was in Africa at that, the, what's it called? You know, the funeral homes. And I realized that death is the imprint of July for me now because of that experience, and that it's okay for me to feel and to grieve my father's transition. And I don't have to hyperfixate on celebrating life. You know what I mean? Every single day and just like being absurd, like I gotta do something, I gotta be busy, da da da. No. And so for the first time since then, I haven't planned anything for my birthday. And still, so like our comrades, our family, like things are still planned and I'm still celebrating my birthday, but I haven't planned anything. I took the pressure off of Jeid and myself, and I'm like, I'm allowing myself to be with what my body was holding on to, which is my father. And I miss him dearly. We celebrated so many birthdays together. And now I feel so much more relief in knowing that I'm no longer suppressing and I'm no longer dissociated from that part of myself. So thank you for saying that.
Yeah, it was a great realization.
Yeah. It was.
It wasn't that you were bringing me anxiety. It was like, oh, what
I was bringing you anxiety, babe. It's okay.
I feel?
I mean, it's not okay, but I'm not bringing you anxiety no more.
I don't know. What?
I'm like,
we've almost did everything. Like, what are we doing?
Right.
So, but we're still celebrating you. Like, even though there was a tragic thing that did take place during the transition, we are still celebrating your trip around the sun, your existence, your life.
Absolutely.
Well. So I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
Super stoked.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't have anything else like that. I feel fulfilled in the conversation. We wanted to like let you guys know, you know, what's been going on, share the tea with y'all, because it's been tea. We've been letting y'all know, like, yo, we got something to share, and this was it. I'm going to speak for myself. I'm in such a better place right now than I had ever been. And I truly am grateful. Like, I truly am regulated and I'm at peace with my life. I'm excited for the journey. You know, I'm good.
I'm in a better place because I always grow, right? There's always growth. There's always growth. I'm in a better place. Yet I'm just, again, working on, you know, just allowing myself to step back and allow, because I've always got my hands in things, and I feel like I need to continue to like have my hands in stuff, because it's like, how's it gonna get done otherwise? You know what I'm saying? So it's still releasing that control. Like, that's where I'm still am. It's got a grip, you know, but it's slowly, you know, dissipating as I go through life. Because, again, we come from a different era too, different time. So I was always built to work. You know? So,
and we've been trying to work. It's like, God, what you want us to do?
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I feel you on that.
Not trying. We have been.
We have been working. No, for real. No, we
remember, we have been. So.
Yeah, facts. Okay, so for those of you who are in the Tampa Bay, St. Pete area,
we still working, y'all.
Our practice is still in full effect. We are just fully mobile now. So if you want to experience our touch, we would love to invite you into our community. You can visit us at smbw2.com, and all the details, all the links, all the things will be there for you, including the Sacred Oasis invitation, every single thing. We do have the Mastering the Art of Healing newsletter, where we are sharing, again, exclusive content, tips and tricks.
Do we have that
and
out
stories?
Now? Is it ready?
It's
okay,
already
started.
It's already good to go.
Perfect.
So you can tap into that on our website as well. All the links are there.
Thrice United.
And then we also have Thrice United conversations with Justin. So stay on the lookout for that as well.
Yeah.
That's another collaboration that we're showing up in with the holistic healing in the LGBTQ space. Obviously, we're utilizing our own experience as leverage here, but there's a gap in that space that we noticed, and it's just like, you know, these conversations need to be had in
all
that
over
space.
the place,
you know what I mean? Like, we are all deserving of love. We are all worthy of love. We are all more than enough and adequate and sufficient. So
that was awesome.
Yeah. This was a beautiful conversation. Thank you for meeting me at the table once again.
Oh, you're welcome. Begin the day with love.
Fill the day with love.
End the day with love.
Peace. Y'all already know what it is.